Let's talk about subject du jour is
Conformity.
Conformity. I've got a one-word definition that came to me of conformity. It's chicken shit. It's being too cowardly to do anything different than the herd is doing or what the herd prescribes. That you don't question anything. You just do what you're told. When I was a kid, worst thing you could tell me is do it because I said so. You know what? That is no reason. Bite me. Not Biden, bite me. Unbelievable.
Well, why do you think there is such a pressure to conform?
I think it probably goes back to the, don't say, go back to the tribal, maybe we'll get something out of this show. I don't know. How's that? I don't know. It's safer. It's safer to to be in the majority. Maybe that's the inherent flaw in democracy right there. Who the hell says that the majority is right? You know how many people voted for George Wallace? You know how many people voted for George Bush? Give me a break. It is the space age, isn't it? Last time I looked.
That's right. You're like, the author of Confederacy of Dunces. You think there should be a king.
Yeah, with a strong sense of theology and geometry. Ignatius Riley.
Peter Kennedy.
Peter Kennedy O'Toole.
Yeah. No.
No. John Kennedy. O'Toole.
Yes.
Wonderful book, Confederacy of Dunces. That's based on the Jonathan Swift, I think, statement that whenever a man of true genius appears in any generation, you may know him by this sign. The dunces are in confederacy against him. Here comes the Tea Party. Here comes the Klan. Here comes the cocktail quaffing or designer brewery quaffing, a liberal coffee table set. What's the difference?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the reason that the conformity is such a powerful force is because we've mentioned our book, We Are All Innocent by Reason of Insanity, before. And what I think is that what we consider to be reality is every culture has their own collective or consensual reality that tribe or that group considers to be real. And if you accept that reality, then and you become a member of that society, then you are considered sane. And if you reject the standards and beliefs of the society, you're considered insane. You're taboo, or you're a heretic, or you're ostracized, or you're put in an insane asylum. All different cultures have different variations of the way they shun you if you don't accept the beliefs of the culture. And it's so there's this very powerful need to conform to your culture because that's how you can be a member. That's how you can be accepted.
And membership has its privileges. And sure. Not being a member has its demerits. It has its costs.
And this, what I use as an example is my dad, as you may know if you've watched this, is a child psychiatrist. And we've had some conversations with him about the meaning of sanity, which the psychiatric community they do not define sanity or insanity. Those words have no meaning to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Those are legal words, to say whether you're responsible for your actions.
All we can do is chronicle the endless variety of mental aberrations.
That's right.
So-called.
So, we asked him, well, okay, well, if this is true...
Hey, hold it down in there. The question of meaning cat is scraping at her box. Enough!
I think she just likes the scraping. So we asked my dad, we thought about this for a while, like, well, okay, well, if a psychiatrist doesn't believe in sanity, if there is no such thing as sanity, what's the point of going to a psychiatrist? Why go for years? And he said, well, the whole point is to help someone become a functioning member of society. Because if you have mental problems, you cannot function. You cannot have a job. You cannot have friends.
Go get killed for your country.
Right. You can't go out there and,
sell your ass on the marketplace.
Be part of things.
Yeah, part of things. That's a nice way to put it. Part of things. I like that.
I mean, in some ways, this just keeps getting worse. So the whole point of psychotherapy is so you can learn to be a member. So you can learn to conform.
I like that, a member.
You can learn to conform. So insanity it is seen as non-conforming to your culture.
That's right.
I mean, so if that doesn't tell you that conformity is a hugely powerful psychological need, because that's what the whole psychiatric psychological profession's about.
I don't think you have to argue for that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have to make that case. I think everybody knows that. You've got to put on your knee pads and bow down and worship money, which is the real god of this country. The dollar bill should have "In this we trust" emblazoned on it. I think it's more, I mean, what's in my head is more like, why do people not question authority? Question their contemporary morality. In our book, we talk about the women's bathing suits. At the turn of last century, the dawn of the 20th century, women's bathing suits were like long dresses down to the mid-calf. And I think there's actually a story it's a movie by Esther Williams about a woman who was one of the first diving, swimming champions, and $1 million legs, I think it was called. And she appeared in something like a Day 11's one-piece swimsuit out of the 50s. And people were scandalized. I mean, this was absolutely like a thong bikini back then. And she was jailed, certainly in Boston. It was banned in Boston. That place was so riddled with puritanical BS that they regularly banned anything innovative and new. Maybe conformity and conservatism are the same thing. It's another form of it. Nobody's more conformist than a conservative. That's what they do. They walk in lockstep. They like the good old days. They like the way things are. They don't want to see anything change. Frightening change, threat, or menace. And today, I mean, there are some beaches that I read about every now and then that ban the thong bikini. But those 3 little patches of cloth, those are the only things that separate what passes for normalcy for filth.
Right. So, I mean, you can just look at
standards change all the time.
100 years of what is normal, what the norms that a woman should conform to when she goes to the beach have changed enormously. And
that's a nice word, enormously.
So, I mean, the conformity is the same, but the norms have changed. And, women go through horrible, horrible anxieties every spring, thinking about what they have to do to get their body ready to, put on one of those tiny little bathing suits.
That's right. I lived in California 30 years ago, and there were nude beaches there that you could go to. And there were no acts of overt perversion, or women were not raped on the beach, and what the hell? This country is so lame. You know what? We are lame.